But guys, there's something I want to expose. There's something I really want to expose. Um, I was doubting posting this, but I think it should be revolutionary and it should change the world. When you see this video, please repost it, share it as many times as possible so that you can be liberated from the British lies. Now, firstly, we know that the Queen has just been buried. In fact, I think the Queen was buried yesterday or the day before yesterday, the Queen of England, right? And I believe that the death of the Queen of England represents the death of a certain era, considering also the fact that he ruled exactly for 70 years. That sounds very predestined. I believe her death signifies the death of a certain era and the birth of a different era. I believe that there are a lot of changes that will happen in favor of Africans because of her death, because of her passing away. Now, here's the first thing that I must post. I must say this. Number one, I saw an article written by a British newspaper that Britain is teaching Africans how to eat insects. At that time, they are referring to mopane, what is referred to as mopane worms, or what is called amasonja or amacimbi in Zulu. Now, amasonja are primarily in South Africa eaten by the Venda and the Tsonga people. I grew up in Soweto. In Soweto, I know that it's a big business, mopane worms, because they are sold it's by the side of the road. They are sold in markets. It's a business. It's a big business. I myself eat amasonja. I was introduced to them by my wife, who was introduced to them by her brother-in-law, who happened to be Tsonga. Because they ate them, and my wife she's a trained chef, so or rather she trained as a chef in the culinary arts, so she loves cooking. And I remember the first time I ate them. Hey, I loved them, but it's a tribal thing. The Zulu tribe does not eat mainly amasonja, but you do have some pockets. I was told by a friend of mine, one colleague, that there are areas in KZN that used to eat amacimbi in the older generation, but it's primarily eaten by the Venda. Amacimbi or amasonja or mopane worms, they're also eaten in Zimbabwe. They are also eaten in Zambia for generations. But this article says the British are teaching Africans they say hunger-stricken Africans to start eating mopane worms. Now, I've traveled a lot of Africa. To say that Africa is hunger-stricken is a fallacy, because Africans have an abundance of food. You can travel so well. This is the reason. Logical sense. You meet an African, most of the time you find a well-built African. Africa has got 1.4 billion people, 1.3 billion people. You're bound to have a population, perhaps, that is not having enough to eat. Majority Africans, they are well-fed and well-nourished because they eat traditional food, including amasonja. They're very tasty. There's a Facebook, a YouTube channel called Unapologetic Nomads. They went to Zambia and they were introduced to amasonja. They actually enjoyed, these African Americans, they actually enjoyed the taste of amasonja. In fact, I want to challenge everybody, all the other tribes who are not eating amasonja. Amasonja are very high in protein and nutrition, and they are very tasty, right? If you go to Soweto, I know amasonja from Soweto. They are being sold at street corners, street vendors, at vegetable stands. They are being sold there. For the British government to actually say they're teaching black people how to, number one, eat amasonja, number two, how to harvest them, grow them, and industrialize them, is a lie that British have been telling for the last, I don't know how many 100 years. Because what they will do, they will go to a place, they will find people practicing something, and they will use their propaganda machines to say they taught the people, they discovered that thing. Same way as they discovered Victoria Lake, same way as they discovered Kilimanjaro, same way as they discovered Cape Town. So they will disregard the local innovation. Now, firstly. Secondly, they will steal the credit. They know how to steal credit using their propaganda machine. That's how they run the world. They steal the credit. Right now, I was listening to Julius Malema say the Queen gave us surnames. That's the biggest fallacy. He spoke, we might say from an African perspective, he spoke well till he spoke propaganda. And Julius means well, because he's a very passionate person. When he gets information and it touches him inside, he runs with it. That's why he comes across as a flip-flopper. Because when he gets a conviction about something, he goes all out. Then he finds out after 5 years that he was wrong for supporting so-and-so. Then he finds out after 10 years that no, actually he was not wrong, but he was right. He was wrong and right. So he is absolutely wrong by saying that it is a British monarch that gave African surnames. Why am I saying that? Because in Africa, surnames were a supernatural link, a link to the spiritual. Surnames were used as a connection, as an ancestral connection. So there is no way you can say the British taught blacks how, gave blacks surnames. That's a fallacy. A whole continent like this. Then what about places that were not colonized by the British, where they're also given surnames by whites? That's disregarding black innovation. We have a deeper method of assigning surnames. We have what we call izithakazelo. Now, in Zulu, we have what we call izibongo, which is surnames. But literally translated, the word izibongo means the praises, because you trace your ancestry through praising. You trace your historical origin through the praises. So they will praise you through your grandfather, your great-grandfather. So, who are you? My name is Busiso. What is your praise? So my praise is Untlap. I'm being praised by the clan that I come from. And the clan that I come from is a bloodline. It's not just a village I found myself in. It is a bloodline that comes from the great-grandfather who gave birth to my great-grandfather, etc. And over and above the Izibongo, there's Izithakazelo. So as much as I am Christian, I should know that where are surnames originating from. So surnames were used, or they are still used by some or by many, as a connection to the spiritual world. So what I'm trying to say to you is there is no way you can say there's the British that introduced surnames to us. You can't say that, because we've got deeper, we've got a long list of surnames. We've got praise names. Izithakazelo are a long string of surnames that tell us your historical origins. Unlike the English, who only have one surname. It could happen that the English came to Africa and they copied the style of surnaming. That's why they only have one surname. In South Africa, I don't know about other tribes in other parts of Africa, but in South Africa, you don't have one surname. You have praises. You have a long list of praises that connect you to your historical origin. So I'm trying to say to you guys, just liberate yourself from the, Bob Marley once said, mental slavery, guys. Mental slavery. Same thing as Christianity. Right now, Christianity is branded as a white introduction in Africa, when Christianity is much purer in Africa. For example, in Ethiopia, they still read 88. The Bible still has 88 books in Ethiopia, and only 66 from Europe. So they adulterated the Bible, they removed certain key books, and those books were key because they place Africa in the Bible. Those books were read by the Old Testament Jews and the early church. But when they came to the Roman Empire, which is now the European Empire, they were removed. So I'm trying to say to you guys, liberate yourself from the narrative. Education is not education. It is indoctrination. It is brainwash. You think you're going to school to be educated. You're just going there to be brainwashed. I saw a black professor talking about so-and-so who started assigning surnames. That's British history. That's not your history. You guys are so indoctrinated. All you intellectuals and all you graduates, all you, sorry, man, I don't want to sound offensive, but academics are brainwashed more than anything. That's why if you look at revolutionary things, they are seldom pushed by academics. Right? And I'm not bad-mouthing academics. I'm saying question the book you read. Who wrote that book? For what intention? Now you should be able to write your book with your own source and your own origin other than the British source. The Queen is dead. The Queen is passed away. Let me put it in a much more palatable and dignified. The Queen is passed away, and she should pass away with all the British legacy. Let us set ourselves free from mental slavery.